achieving business goals, and it comes down to these work great for personal goals as well, but as I'm a small business coach, I'm going to focus on the business aspect of it, and then get you guys going. So pretty much what we're going to be talking about today is defining your goal, setting your intention, which is the key part, and then taking action on it. So like I mentioned, hey, we're working on Facebook goals and all of this stuff, but the biggest thing is, why are we doing Facebook advertising and things like that? So I want you guys to really set goals and, more importantly, intentions on what you want in your business, and Facebook and other things that we work on will definitely be ways to get you to be able to reach those goals. Okay, so the first thing here is to actually define your goal. And it's pretty straightforward. You've been setting goals. So in this case, kind of set a monetary amount that you want your business to reach. So in terms of, hey, now you're doing all these Facebook advertising, or, you're exploring videos, or whatever the intention might be, set out whatever that goal is. And we're not going to spend too much time on setting the goals. Like I mentioned, the intentions are more important here, but definitely you need to have a goal and a figure in mind. And then the thing is that you always need to have something to reach for. If you're not reaching for anything, whether or not you are actually working or not working, your subconscious is going to be a little lazy. You need to always have something. Every time you reach a goal, set a new goal, and always be having goals within your business. And I think that's where, a lot of it happened for me in my previous business, is that we were so hard at work in the day-to-day aspects and keeping up with the demands of customers and all of that stuff, which was great. It's a lifeblood of the business, but we didn't set goals and metrics and all of that aspect within your business, which is a vitally important part that I missed in that. So that's definitely, as I'm looking at creating another business, this is something I'm going to be keeping a very close handle of, and making sure I have continual goals and I'm always stretching and improving myself, which also corresponds to my business. So I always want my business to be growing. So in this case, when you're setting a goal, always have something that you want to achieve. That's what I mentioned on, once you reach the goal, awesome, but now you need something else to achieve and work forward. You also want to be able to stretch yourself. You don't want such an easy goal that it doesn't excite you, but at the same time, you need to be able to believe it. If your goal that you're setting is, hey, I want my business that's a brand new startup, never made a single sale, and I want it to reach $1 million in 3 months, it's possible, but it comes down to your believability. So if you don't believe that it's possible, you're not going to be getting the best results. So you want to set a goal that stretches, but it still needs to be within your belief. Does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully. Okay. So with that, like I said, we're gonna focus a lot on the intentions behind it. So pretty much you have a need or desire, in this case with your business. Okay, I desire that my business earns X amount of money per month. So my goal is exactly that. I want to be having my business bring in X amount of dollars. So now when it comes down to your intention, this is where we're going to focus on. Instead of focusing, most people focus on their goals. We're instead going to focus on the intentions. So what's the difference between goals and intentions? And to really define it, it's pretty easy. Basically, a goal is what you're going to see with the image on the left. So you have, this vision. Hey, my business wants to earn, my business, my new business that I'm starting with, I want to earn $20,000 a month from that business. Or I want that business to bring in, since I'm thinking of for those goals. Anyway, so let that vision, okay, $20,000. So in this case, I can be very analytical behind it, and I can set up all the different steps. So I'm going to use my Facebook advertising. Oh, I'm going to do some YouTube. I'm going to do a this and a this. And, even sit down and figure, okay, well, I estimate that I'll get X amount of traffic from Facebook, or whatever that might be. That's basically a goal. You set your $20,000 you want your business to bring in, and you're trying to define and figure out exactly how to reach that goal. You're mapping out the steps. The flip side with an intention is you're saying, hey, my business is going to be bringing in $20,000 a month. Don't know how. I'm willing. I'm going to learn and all of that stuff. But you're setting that intention, and you're not defining the steps to get there. And that's where the power comes into it. So that we're going to go deeper into the difference between goals and intentions, but pretty much this great visualization. You have this goal you want to reach. or you have something that you want to reach. It's a goal if you're setting out the steps. It's an intention if no steps, you're just open-ended on, this is my intention, I'm going to get it. So with this, let me just, I just liked this quote, so I threw it in here. So when we're setting a goal, we think realistically. We analyze our current situation and plan out the steps to reach our goal. Setting goals is based on reasoning and creating a plan. Setting a goal is a very cognitive process of analyzing, planning, and reasoning. We are in control of the plan and all the steps to get there. So if you notice, it's a lot of we. That's defining. And it's a lot of, you can have all the best intentions on different things, but at the same time, you're really defining it. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we set goals and then life gets in the way. Oh, my goal is we need to have, I need to do 50 phone calls a day. Oh, shoot, my kid's sick. I can't do those 50 phone calls. And suddenly it just peters down. So this is why goals definitely have problems, because there's so much of a we, and you're defining the exact path to success. And as we know, we think that success goes straight on up, but in reality, it's kind of like squiggle, 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 squiggle. But if you have that intention, you're eventually going to get there. So goals, we think very linear. However, that can definitely hinder us in the process. If we're not setting and meeting those goals, a lot of people get discouraged and they'll give up. Now, setting an intention is a similar process like setting a goal, but the difference is that you don't plan out the way to get there. You just intend the outcome and surrender the process to the universe. It has to be something that you really want. It doesn't come from the reasonable you, but the alive you. And this is where it basically comes down to the feelings. What feeling am I going to get by having a new business that's bringing in $20,000 a month? What's that feeling that I'm going after? And that's definitely what you want to stress in when you're talking about intentions. So just keep that in mind when you go about that part. And then just to kind of summarize those two and put it into bullet points, so you can compare it a little bit better. So your goals, that definitely has the realistic, the analytical side of your brain. And you might have a goal that stretches yourself, but you're definitely always going to be analyzing that. Well, was that a smart goal? Do I think I'm going to achieve it? Maybe I need a little bit more time to achieve that goal. And your brain keeps talking and talking in this process. However, with your intentions, all you do is just get laser targeted and you focus on whatever the thing is. Well, I want that 20,000 in my new business, and I want, and then I'm not sure how it's going to come. It could come from Facebook or YouTube or blah, 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 blah. But the bottom line is you're just focused on whatever that outcome is, and you're not going to be tripped up in all of the little setbacks or, letting your brain overanalyze, which is something my brain does a lot of. So just really focus on that intention aspect of it. Okay, so step 2, once you've defined the goal, and that's where, okay, 20,000 is my number, that's my goal. Now, how do I go about and set an intention behind it? I really like this image because the fact is, with intentions, since you're not having a set to-do list and you're not using that aspect of your brain or whatever you want to say with it, instead, you're not being able to see the full path. If your goal is to climb that mountain in the distance, or even the mountain way over there in the far distance, you're not being able to see the entire path ahead of time. And that freaks a lot of people out. And it definitely, has tripped at me. And learning more about goals and intentions, I want to focus on the intentions, but sometimes it's hard, and it's hard to shut off your brain and get that analytical side to just whoop. And so in this case, it's just, you kind of have that, you're going in the general sense of that mountain. You can see the mountain in the distance, but this path is not laid out. I can't see the entire path to the top of the mountain at this point. And that's okay. And that's what you really want to understand with intentions, is you're going to just start walking down the path. And, there's going to be ups and downs. You might, in this path, hey, who knows, it could go veer off completely to the left, and you're still thinking that you're climbing the mountain, and it might be completely off to the left, and you don't understand why until when you climb the mountain, you realize, oh, well, there was a giant, lake, and that's why I had to go around it, but you're not able to see it at this point. And there's a lot that's off of our radar screens that you don't know that can be set into motion that can benefit you and your business and help you reach that goal. But if you're too much in the process and defining things and just focusing on goals and not intentions, you're definitely going to get tripped up and not see that success as well. So with setting intentions, you want to define the purpose. And in this case, okay, my $20,000, going back to that one. Okay, what's the purpose of the 20,000? Well, I feel like that definitely would let me feel like my business has a really strong foothold. It's off to a good start and I would feel accomplished. So I'm focusing on those feelings I'm getting rather than, just the fact that I want $20,000 from that new business. Um, your vision is definitely no more important than the knowledge. Do I have the knowledge basis right now to build a business that can bring in 20,000? I personally believe that I do. However, I might not. There might be more knowledge that I can acquire that can take it up to, $40,000, $50,000. And so it's really more important to focus just on, okay, I want that part of the money rather than to be worried, oh, do I know enough to get there and all of that stuff. That's where your brain is talking. That's the goal aspect. Ignore those for right now. Just focus on your intentions and don't worry about that knowledge. And then back to getting into that belief. You have to be able to believe you could achieve the goal. Otherwise, your intentions are going to be pretty wobbly because you have to have a laser targeted focus. And if it's not laser targeted, or well, if you don't have a high belief, it's not going to be as laser because you're going to be a little shaky in it. And the cool part is that by having this strong belief and this strong intention, your unconscious actually will kick in and do a lot of the work. And that's where, when I talked a little bit about that radar screen, that you can't see all the different ways it'll work, this is where your unconsciousness fills in and you'll be completely astounded with the results that you receive. So, okay, now how do you define the intention? Really think about it, and like I said, this is all going for feelings and what comes from the heart. So why do you really want that income goal? What is that going to mean to you and your business if you achieve that? Think about the feelings that you'll get, whether it's a feeling, proud of your business and that success, or if you get a personal feeling by having success in your business. Really think about that feeling. And then you also want to be able to, what evidence around you will you see? Well, hey, your bank account is good evidence if you're focused on money. If, in this case, yes, we're focusing on businesses, so that's why I'm using a monetary thing. But maybe instead you're focusing on clients. And hey, well, that evidence is going to be, I'm going to see my clients go from, X amount of clients to up here in clients. So there's different evidence. It doesn't have to just be monetary. It could be the fact, what's your evidence? Oh my goodness, I need to hire another employee because I'm so busy and I can't keep up on the phone. So that's other evidence that you can see. So just look around you and you want to envision when, your business hits whatever that first goal or milestone that you want to do, what evidence will you see around you when that's achieved? And then the biggest thing is, what reward are you going to create for achieving this goal of yours? And the big thing is to celebrate each time you hit a goal. And it doesn't, and I've heard stories of people who make, tons and tons of money and they get burned out. Why? Because they're forgetting to reward themselves. So even if it's just a little bit, oh my gosh, I made my first sale. Well, go ahead and reward yourself. Hey, and along the way, definitely reward yourself. And if you hit that really big goal and intention, just go crazy and celebrate. And this is, we'll get into it a little more later about, momentum and things like that, but you definitely don't want to let that die. And then declaring it. So once you have all of those feelings and you have it all rolled down and you want to summarize it to, a couple sentences or so. You don't want it to be overly long. Some people have pages of intentions and that's fine, but you also want to be able to boil it down to something pretty simple so that way you can repeat it and think about it all the time instead of having, a 2-page intention and, oh, how are you going to remember that while you're driving or things like that. So you want to boil it down and you want to be able to explain it clearly to a 6-year-old. And if they can understand what it is that you're working towards, that's where it can really be clear because you are able to explain it and take out all the fluff. And if you can explain it to that 6-year-old, your brain and all of that is just going to, there's no question. There's nothing to clarify. You are clear about your intention. And then make sure that you always have a clear outcome. Okay, if it's a monetary goal, super easy. whatever that might be. Or, if it's a little more broad or a little more feeling based, that's fine as well. But just make sure you have a clear outcome so that way you'll know if it's achieved. Oh, let me just plug in the computer. Okay. And then just keeping in mind, focus on that vision, whatever it might be. So once you've declared the intention, now you're also going to work on, and we're going to get together about writing it. So you want to bring in that visualization. I just love that picture because you can completely identify it. If you look at it, you almost want to squint from the sun in your eyes, and you can imagine the clouds sweeping overhead and the gurgling water and the waterfall, and it just looks so beautiful. And this is an excellent example of visualization. So whatever it might be with your intentions, you want to have an aspect of visualization. It can be as simple as, hey, I'm sitting at the computer. I see, the Chase logo on the top. I see the money in my bank account. But things like that, okay, how do you feel? Is it hot? Is it cold? Do you hear noise in the background? Where are you sitting at your computer? Things like that. So you want to have that visualization aspect brought into your intention as well when you're going to be going out and clarifying them. And like I said, you have to make sure to reward yourself to keep that burning out. And you want something exciting enough to take massive action. When I'm setting my attention for my, $20,000 goal, my reward is really exciting and it's worth going for. If your reward is, hey, I'm going to earn $20,000 and, I will buy myself a Starbucks. Doesn't quite equate. Now, if let's say you make one sale and treat yourself to Starbucks, that might be a good reward to get you going. Oh my gosh, that's great. But if you hit such a huge, massive goal and your reward is so little, it's not going to make it exciting enough for you to go out and take that massive action and get laser focused. So it needs to be exciting enough that you want to go out and actually take that. Okay, so actually writing your outcome, so just kind of to define it by these things. You want to write it so you have to visualize it. Think about that beautiful picture. So make sure in your intentions that's there. So you have visual, audio, kinesthetic, all those aspects in there to really help you picture it. Make sure to include your reward. And then the interesting thing is when you're going to be talking about it, it is a future date, but you don't want to say that, by, for mine was October 1st. So I'm not going to say by October 1st, this is what I'm going to have. No, I'm going to be writing it. It is October 1st. Today the air is crisp and cold or whatever it might be. Well, not exactly in Southern California, but you want to be able to use it and basically write it as you're writing it in the future, and do not use anything by the state or past tense or things like that. Write it like it's actually happening, and that's a very important part of writing your outcome. And then imagine what it feels like to have it accomplished. You want to capture those feelings. How do you feel now that you've accomplished that? Put your feelings into this intention as well. And then, like I keep saying, make sure it's believable. You don't want to have something completely unbelievable, and here you have all of this stuff, and oh my gosh, October 1st, I'm going to have $1 million in my bank account, and it's going to feel so fantastic, and then I'm going to be going on this trip around the world, and it sounds awesome, and I can write my intention, but if I don't truly believe that I can have $1 million in 3 months, from a new business that's starting at zero, my outcome's not going to have the best results. I might have a lot of good results, but that one's quite, not believable for me at this point. Okay. So after you've set these intentions, now you want to take massive action. And I love this picture as well. When I went skydiving for my 18th birthday, that is taking action. You gear up, you have the airplane, and then literally you have all of this prep work, but it doesn't matter how many times somebody could describe to you how it feels to skydive or the mechanics behind it. You don't really understand it until you literally jump out of that airplane. So make sure whatever it is, set your intentions and get all of it at, and then just jump out of that airplane and get going. So it really comes down to, if you're standing still, you're not going to do anything. So just get out there and do something with it. Doesn't matter how wobbly, you'll eventually hit the ground if you skydive. So in regards to taking action, there's imperfect action, and that's one that I've always had hard times. I like to know exactly what I'm going to do before I do it. This imperfect action has been something that I have had to learn and deal with and kind of, figure out along the way. And it's really just to keep getting going. I'm a perfectionist by nature, blame the only child syndrome or whatever you want to call it. But learning how to just start stumbling forward. And I love that picture of that lady. It just looks so carefree, and she's literally just surrendering to the process. That's at least what I get from it. And just really gonna get out there and just say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Doesn't matter if I do it wrong, at least I'm doing it. And in that regard, it's really that we can only correct actions. Think about it. If someone's playing basketball and they're taught, hey, you can study, you can go to a classroom and learn basketball. You can watch videos, you can watch the professional athletes, you can do all of that. But until you actually hold a basketball in your hand and shoot it, that's not really going to do you very much good. You can understand, okay, I know exactly the proper form of shooting a basket. But even if you know the proper form, does that mean that you would actually make the basket your first time around? Maybe. How about 10 out of 10 times? Or 100 out of 100 times? No. So it's pretty much, you need to get away from all the book work. As much as we love learning, and that's the biggest thing on these webinars that I'm trying to do, like with my Facebook thing, is people are getting great information, but they're still not taking action. And we can only help and guide you if you're actually taking action and then correct the course. Or I threw that image of the ship in there because, like they say, you can only steer a ship that's moving. It does no good to turn the steering wheel of a giant ship that's not going anywhere. You're not going to see any change in the course of action. So make sure and just get going. Take the action. Doesn't matter how terrible it might be. Just go and do it. And then I work like your life depends on it. And that's the biggest thing here. I learned, or I've heard the quote from Dave Ramsey that says, live like no one else, so then you can live like no one else. And that's awesome. The idea of an entrepreneur is we're going to work really hard and get it done for now, but it's not going to be like this forever. But the biggest thing is, if you're not going to work super hard and get your business or whatever it is that you're working on up and running now, it's not going to be happening later on. So work like someone else now, so that way you can live like no one else for the rest of your life. And then that just comes down to maintaining momentum. If you focus really hard and you're super excited about that intention and that goal, one, it excites you because you have all those feelings around it. You can feel how I'm going to feel once my business achieves that goal. And then in the bottom line, you also have that reward. Between the two of those, it'll be impossible for you to burn out. And the people do is because they have a lack of clarity, or they forget their goals, or their goals and intentions don't inspire them. They're not exciting. It's okay, but it's not uberly exciting. Like I said, if my reward for earning or for having a business that created $20,000 was just to go get a Starbucks, I wouldn't be super excited. Instead, for mine, which I'll show you in a little bit, that goal is very exciting. And then we all have roadblocks. The biggest thing here is you don't want to see your goal as in the future. Even if you're setting your goal and you want that to achieve in 3 months, you don't want to see it and keep it always off there. A lot of people say, oh, my breakthrough is right around the corner. Next month is going to be fantastic. Well, it's always going to be the next month, and it's always going to be right around the corner and things like that. So you just need, one, that comes back to taking action. If you're not taking action, it's always going to be right around the corner. At the same time, too, is you just want to be able to unconsciously influence yourself. And you're going to be having a lot of unconscious limitations if you keep programming yourself that way. Oh, it's right around the corner. Oh, it's going to happen next month. Oh, you know what? Next week, that's when I'm going to really sit down and buckle down and do things. So as long as that's the way that you're programming yourself, you're not going to be getting ahead. So make sure that you just block those out right now. And I understand they're super hard because I've had to go through all this process too. And that's where personal development is definitely a fantastic asset and something that everybody should be working on daily. And then back to that laser focused. There she is. And you want both your thoughts and your actions to be laser focused on your goal. or your intention. Like I said, it's either way, it's whatever your end result is. It's just we're not making goals to get there. We're setting an intention to get there. But whatever that thing is that you really, really want, put all of your thoughts and all of your actions, keep that at the front part of your mind, and that's a great way to go ahead and achieve that. And then here's just a great quote. Failures want to figure it all out and don't want to act until they have a perfect solution. Successful people take action on their intentions before they know what to do. And I can say from personal experience, I definitely fell into that, unfortunately, failure category. And luckily for me, I didn't have failures. I just didn't have unlimited success. That's what I found in my things. I really wanted to map it all out and feel confident and things like that. And, I've had success and you make progress, but to really just let go and just allow this unlimited amount of success in, that's what you have to do. And that's where the difference is between setting an analytical goal and just opening yourself up to an intention and letting it come to you. And taking those actions before you really know what to do is a key part of having success in any business or life, or, like I said, this doesn't have to just apply to business as well. Okay, so when it's all said and done, so that's basically how to, set a goal, or define the goal, set your intention, and then take action to get there. So how do you specifically apply that to your business? Well, what is the financial goal that you would like to see your business hit within 90 days? I've mentioned a lot. Mine is, it's a brand new business. I literally, I haven't done anything with it. I'm going to be building it out live. And so with that, my goal is to earn $20,000 in 90 days. I believe it's possible to achieve that. I've done, more than that in my previous business. And, okay, that's something that I believe can happen. So you definitely want it to be a stretch. Would it be easy to say, oh, well, I just want my business to hit $5,000 in 90 days? Yes, that would be an easy goal. I'm stretching it. And I'm also making sure that it's something that I'm able to believe. I believe that I can create a business, that can hit that in 90 days. Do I believe I could create a business that would hit $1 million in 90 days? Well, it's not quite in my belief system right now. So make sure that you, go ahead and stick within that. So pretty much here, you're going to take your income and divide it by 30. And what you want, that's going to be giving you your daily income number. And then you're going to take that daily income number and divide it by the average sale amount. So whatever you're selling in business, for mine, it's a new party agency that I'm doing, so I know that average amount. Other people, there's people that I work with in direct sales. Okay, they know it instantly, how much that commission amount might be. There's other ones that have brick and mortar. Okay, well, what's the average sale amount that I would need, if somebody's coming in to buy, whatever it might be. So you really want to come down to the number of daily sales. That's what I've felt was very helpful. And just focus on those daily numbers. Don't even worry about the dollar amount. Just, okay, how many sales do I need to get? Leave it at that. So really think about it. How many sales a day do you need in your business to achieve that income goal? Now forget the income goal. Just focus on how many sales you need. So once you're thinking about that, here's the best part that you're going to break down with it is focus only on the production of those sales. Know what your daily sale amount is, and then how do you start to think about those sales? Focus only on that. You want to make all of your daily actions hit those daily sales. Just focus on the daily. And that's the thing too is, if you start thinking, okay, weekly, monthly, you're going to be getting overwhelmed. Anything more than the daily is not going to work as well. So just focus on whatever your daily amount is for the number of sales. So this comes down to income generating activities. You've probably heard that term before. And what that is basically if you keep that in the front of your mind, just focus on that daily sales. Unconsciously, that's what your activities will be throughout the day. Focus on those dailies and work on doing those first and generating income. And that is how you get to see some fantastic results. Okay, so for me, For what I'm breaking down to is I want 20,000 a month for this new business within 90 days. That comes down to I rounded up to make it easy, but about $650 a day is what I need to be doing. The average sale in my party business is about $50 is what I'm estimating. And then so that equates to 13 sales a day. Even that number for me was a little overwhelming. Oh my goodness. And then immediately my analytical brain was thinking, well, my previous business, how many parties were we booking a day? Okay, well, I have 3 staff members working in that business. The phones ring off the hook, and your brain starts to think like that. So that's exactly what my brain did. And oh my goodness, okay, 3 staff people. I think we're probably doing about 13 a day, maybe less, maybe about 10 a day is what I'm thinking for my previous business. So immediately my brain is thinking, this is why we want to avoid goals, because goals, your brain's going to start getting in, and now my belief is already starting to go down. Ooh, 13 a day, that is hard. I have a brand new business. That business, that's after 6 years. We have 3 salespeople and averaging about 10 to 15 parties a day. How could I do 13 from a brand new business? Well, what I did is I thought, 1 sale per hour. That's comfortable. Is that very hard? Talking in this case, whatever. But 1 sale per hour. That was more manageable for me and got my brain to shh a little bit and turn off that analytical side. So my only focus in my new business is 1 sale per hour. If that is my predominant focus, then where is my activities going to lay? So what has to happen for someone to book? And this is where my brain started to just go, okay, well, let's see, that comes down to marketing. Well, if they're on my website and I want 1 person an hour to call me or to actually book a party, okay, well, they could find me on Facebook. They could find me on YouTube. They could find me on a blog. They could find me from a dark post on Facebook. They could like my Facebook page. They could see me on this. So immediately, instead of shutting down, and that's the biggest thing, goals, and when your brain starts to, let those fears creep in. Oh my goodness, how can I do 13 parties a day when my other business that I've ran, does 13 parties after 6 years? 90 days, that's impossible. So immediately, by just stopping that, focusing on 1 sale an hour, I'm unlocking my brain to start discovering, okay, well, there's a lot of different possibilities for people to come onto my website. These are all great things, and that's what I started focusing on, is what has to happen for someone to book. And immediately when my brain's thinking about this and thinking all these different avenues, those become my income generating activities. Well, I'm thinking somebody could find me on my Facebook page. Ooh, do I have a Facebook page? Yes. Okay, now then I should, post a little on my Facebook page. Do I think somebody could find me on YouTube? Yes, that would be a fantastic resource. Okay, well, I need to put some videos out. And this is where your brain starts to just have fun and run for it, and you're not even focusing on the income or anything like this. You're just focusing on 1 sale per hour. So hopefully breaking it down to you guys really helps you see where your focus should be in order to get the results that you want in your business. And I'll leave you at what I defined as my goal for my new business, which is, so basically you want to use like these descriptive things. So I'll just read it out. So I, Lauren Cheney, am logging into my bank account on October 1st, 2014. My deposits for September equal over $20,000. I feel a ripple of excitement course through my body. Today I'm putting down the deposit on a new 5-bedroom house with a hot tub. I can hear the squeals of the kids as I show them pictures of our new house. I feel so powerful and successful as I realize I really did create this new life for myself and my children. I did it. So this is the example of an intention. So yes, I'm setting it for a business. You can do this for personal. But you're putting in, it's the moment. How do you feel that excitement? What's your reward? Oh my goodness, I really want that new house. Things like that. I can hear the squeals of the kids and everybody's having excitement. So creating something like this is super exciting. This is your motivation behind the intention. You can think about it, read it over and over again, but then it all comes down to what is your focus? For me, it's 1 sale per hour. That's manageable, it's exciting, and that's where my focus is going to be. So that's where I'll leave you for today.